带大家看看龙江325家具大道。
Let me take you on a tour of the furniture district along Longjiang 325 Avenue in Foshan, Guangdong. Many showrooms here are now up for sublease. Those who understand the situation know it's all about surviving. It feels really disheartening. In the past, this time of year would see the streets of Longjiang lined with colorful flags, bustling in preparation for the National Furniture Expo. Now it's eerily empty. I hope when the expo comes around, I'll still see you in your factories hosting clients, and we'll push through this together. Foshan is a major hub for China's furniture industry, often called the furniture trade capital of China. It is said to be one of the largest global bases for furniture production and export. Driving south along Foshan Avenue, you'll find hundreds of markets for furniture materials and finished products, stretching over dozens of kilometers, with more than 30,000 enterprises gathered here. Each year, it attracts a large number of international buyers. The city is home to 2 industrial clusters worth trillions of yuan, one of which is the home furnishing sector. Data from the Foshan Bureau of Industry and Information Technology shows that 7 industries tied to real estate, including ceramics, aluminum, metal products, home appliances, plastics, and furniture, make up nearly 60% of manufacturing output. This underscores how closely the city's manufacturing fortunes are tied up to the ups and downs of the real estate sector. In recent years, however, Foshan's traditional industries have faced unprecedented challenges, largely due to the debt crises among Chinese real estate companies and significant shifts in the global trade environment. Recently, a social media account reported that 2,000 to 3,000 door and window factories in Foshan could shut down before the Lunar New Year. It's speculated that by 2025, half of China's manufacturing sector might collapse.
佛山家具又有一家工厂 The
furniture industry in Foshan has already seen several closures within days. Factories like Sediaoqi Furniture, Lanzhen Furniture, and previously Confil, Jeriar, and Huadai have all gone under, marking the start of a significant wave of bankruptcies. This crisis is causing delays in worker payments and leaving countless suppliers and distributors without recourse for their unpaid orders. Another furniture factory in Foshan has gone under. Guoyou Office Furniture has also declared bankruptcy.
According to chat records shared by the person filming the video, the company not only failed to pay its employees, but also owes deposits to numerous customers. One customer, for example, had paid several thousand yuan as a deposit and has yet to recover the money. A source familiar with the situation revealed that the factory's owner has not fled, but employees are still waiting on about 5 months' worth of unpaid wages. One customer, who had recently placed a 1,000 yuan order, currently has no way of getting their money back. Reports suggest that Guoyou Office Furniture was a large-scale operation, spanning tens of thousands of square meters. According to estimates shared online, the monthly rent alone was in the hundreds of thousands of yuan.
佛山家具又有一家工厂倒闭了
Jeriar Furniture in Foshan has gone bankrupt. I want to share some evidence from real interviews with defrauded distributors and employees. One employee confirmed that the factory has indeed shut down and is currently trying to recover unpaid wages. Just yesterday, they were still working, but this morning, they were told not to come back. A distributor mentioned that they initially thought the delays were just due to slow shipments. However, they only found out this morning that Jeriar Furniture had gone under, leaving their orders undelivered. A debt recovery group has already been formed for those affected by Jeriar Furniture's collapse, with many people reporting significant losses. This marks a full-blown bankruptcy crisis in Foshan's furniture industry, and the situation is extremely serious.
Since last year, numerous furniture factories in Foshan have gone bankrupt. On November 7, 2024, Foshan Sediaoqi Furniture Company Limited officially declared bankruptcy. According to a civil ruling issued by the Shende District People's Court, the company completed liquidation due to insolvency and followed legal procedures to settle its debts. Public records show that the company was founded in December 2019 with a registered capital of 5 million yuan, but collapsed after less than 5 years of operation. The industry's struggles were apparent years ago when declining real estate sales began to slow distributors' business. This downturn seemed like an unspoken reality everyone understood. On social media, the situation is bleak. A vendor from Letong Furniture City lamented that their store traffic in 2024 was only a third of what it was in 2023. Meanwhile, second-generation factory owners are posting online, seeking advice on how to escape the cycle of closures. President Fang Peng of the Foshan Smart Home Industry Association and founder of Muyue Home shared his perspective. Constantly receiving updates from the industry, he remarked, "It's impossible to keep going domestically. Leading companies are seeing a 30 to 50% drop in performance. The bigger the scale, the bigger the loss. It's terrifying. Specialized and niche players are faring slightly better." Comments online note that it's not just furniture factories struggling. Small ceramic, stainless steel, aluminum, and home appliance businesses in Foshan are barely holding on, uncertain of how long they can survive. Industries closely tied to real estate, particularly those with low repeat purchase rates, are feeling the chill the most. Ceramics is a prime example. Liang Jun, who has worked in Foshan's ceramics industry for 20 years, once served as a corporate manager and later started his own brand. At a recent meeting of the Foshan Ceramics Industry Association, he heard the association president use the word collapse to describe the current state. Conversations with business owners from various sectors confirmed that many are struggling. Orders are shrinking, and more peers are shutting down. He said, "It feels so cold for all of us." According to reports, a senior executive at a listed ceramics company in Foshan noted that the downturn in the real estate market has significantly impacted the ceramics industry since 2022. By 2024, kiln shutdown rates had reached historic highs since the era of reform opening up, with 50% of kilns active and some areas hitting 60%. No other year has seen such a high shutdown rate. Traditionally, ceramics companies would stop operations in late November or early December. However, in 2024, some production lines never even started at the beginning of the year. By June, kiln shutdowns had already begun and continued across the sector. Several publicly listed ceramics companies in Foshan are reporting significant drops in net profits. In the first 3 quarters of this year, Dongpeng Holdings had a revenue of 4.7 billion yuan, down 18.3% year-on-year, with net profits attributable to shareholders falling over 50% to 309 million yuan. Meanwhile, Mona Lisa Group saw its revenue decrease by 21.4% to 3.6 billion yuan, and its net profits plummeted 57.8% to 141 million yuan. If the leading companies are struggling, small and medium-sized ceramic firms are facing even harsher challenges. Lin Junxiong, who has worked in the ceramics industry for 14 years, closed his physical store in 2022 to focus on helping companies clear out their inventory. Lin explained, "It's scary. Many firms have been clearing stock this year, sometimes tens of thousands of boxes worth millions of yuan." Small and medium-sized enterprises often have goods piling up in warehouses, but with operating costs looming, they're forced to find ways to generate cash flow or risk collapse. With domestic demand weak, Foshan businesses are turning to exports. Amy, the director of foreign trades at Shunlian Group, has been in the industry for over a decade. She noticed a sharp increase in Foshan companies exploring overseas markets in 2024. Social media is now flooded with posts teaching people how to engage in cross-border e-commerce and trade, reflecting how tough domestic competition has become. The Secretary General of the Guangdong Customized Home Association, Zheng Yong, highlighted that many companies that had never considered exporting are now being forced into it, a clear sign of the industry's difficulties. But exporting isn't a smooth path either. Feedback from the 2024 Canton Fair showed a steep drop in orders from European and American clients since August and September. Amy observed a noticeable decline in Western buyers at Lian Furniture City, with most overseas clients now coming from India, Russia, and developing countries along the Belt and Road Initiative. The Longjiang Furniture Expo, held annually in August, has always been a key event for the industry. Official data shows that the 2024 Expo attracted over 300,000 buyers globally, with participation from more than 1,000 exhibitors. However, a modular sofa manufacturer mentioned that this year's event was much quieter, with only a few major brands experiencing significant business. Another vendor admitted there were no foreign buyers this year, a stark contrast to past events. His brief comments reflected the broader struggles of the export market. A businessman said, "Are there any foreign faces this year? No, but there were some before." Obviously, he also felt the changes in the foreign trade market. The U.S., once the largest market for Chinese home furnishings, has seen dramatic changes in recent years due to stricter trade policies. Furniture exports to the U.S. have dropped significantly, with tariffs such as the anti-dumping duty on mattresses reaching up to 1,731%. Once a prominent cross-border e-commerce company in Foshan abruptly exited the market in early 2024, reportedly due to tariff-related disruptions. The decrease in overseas orders has led to inventory surpluses, forcing companies to dump products at low prices abroad, drawing global criticism and concerns about the impact of international industries. Frequent anti-dumping investigations have further strained businesses. In February 2024, the EU extended its 96.7% anti-dumping tax on Chinese tiles. In October, Indonesia imposed similar duties on Chinese ceramics, affecting several Foshan-based companies. Meanwhile, the U.S. government has increased enforcement of anti-dumping tariffs on Chinese goods. On October 31, 2024, the Department of Justice filed a civil lawsuit against Lauren Bivona, the former president of Lajobi Inc., accusing him of evading anti-dumping duties on Chinese-made children's furniture. The case seeks $7 billion in unpaid duties and $15 million in fines, totaling around $22 million. The Justice Department stated that Bivona had provided false information to Customs and Border Protection, deliberately hiding the actual manufacturers of the furniture to avoid a 216% anti-dumping tariff. He falsely claimed the goods were made by manufacturers subject to a much lower 7% tariff. When goods enter the U.S., importers are required to provide all necessary information to the Customs and Border Protection so that it could calculate the applicable duties, including anti-dumping tariffs. Anti-dumping tariffs are a trade remedy designed to protect domestic industries from unfair fair practices, like government subsidies or products sold below market value. Since 2004, the U.S. has imposed anti-dumping duties on Chinese furniture to counteract low-cost dumping by the Chinese Communist Party. Brian M. Boynton, Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Justice Department's Civil Division, emphasized that anti-dumping duties are crucial in combating illegal trade and safeguarding American manufacturers. He said the department will continue holding accountable those who seek unfair advantages by violating trade laws. The Justice Department has established a trade fraud task force to crack down on duty evasion and trade fraud. The group works closely with CBP and other agencies to ensure compliance with U.S. trade laws. Susan Thomas, Border Protection's Executive Director for Cargo and Conveyance Security, highlighted that enforcing anti-dumping duties protects the U.S. economy, ensures fair trade, and prevents predatory practices that harm American jobs. Ivan J. Arvello, Assistant Director of Global Trade Investigations at Homeland Security Investigations, added that HSI will continue collaborating with CBP and other agencies to fight attempts to evade U.S. trade regulations. With rising tensions between the U.S. and China, and President Trump proposing higher tariffs on Chinese goods, exporters are bracing for further shocks. Industry leaders are growing increasingly concerned about the future. Vice President Gao Kong of Westport Logistics noted the uncertainty surrounding trade policies and their potential impact on Foshan's furniture industry. The specter of geopolitical risks looms over businesses as they wait for clarity. Taiwanese economist Huang Shicong observed a clear shift in Chinese exports, with fewer orders from Europe and the U.S. and more from Africa and Belt and Road countries. He explained that this is not a good sign for China, as exports to Western countries typically have higher profit margins. In contrast, products sold to Belt and Road or ASEAN countries are lower priced, negatively impacting China's overall trade figures. He warned that declining exports could become a long-term trend as China faces trade barriers and competition from other countries. Business professor Xie Tian from the University of South Carolina highlighted that China's status as the world's factory relied on dominating Western markets and earning valuable foreign exchange. Now, with those premium customers lost, exports are increasingly geared to less stable markets like Russia and African countries. He noted that exports to Russia surged partly due to Western sanctions, forcing Russia to turn to China for lower quality goods. However, if the Russia-Ukraine conflict ends or Western trade with Russia resumes, China could lose this market. Professor Xie further cautioned that China's export volume is also at risk of declining, not just the quality. In the first 3 quarters of 2024, Foshan's total exports dropped by 23.1% year-on-year. Key industries like furniture and ceramics were hit even harder, with furniture exports plunging 37.3% and ceramics exports dropping 42.4%. Foshan's economic momentum has slowed significantly, reflecting broader challenges in China's economy, including weak domestic and foreign demand. By the end of October 2024, Foshan's GDP growth for the first 3 quarters was just 1.6%, the lowest among China's 26 trillion yuan cities, and third lowest among Guangdong's 21 cities. The industrial sector was a major drag, with Foshan's large-scale industrial output falling 1.2% year-on-year, compared to a 4.7% increase for the province overall. Just a few years ago, Foshan was thriving. In 2019, it became the 17th city in China and the third in Guangdong to surpass a GDP of 1 trillion yuan, driven by its manufacturing industry. By 2021, its GDP had nearly doubled compared to a decade earlier. In 2023, Foshan was recognized as China's 4th largest industrial city, trailing only Shenzhen, Suzhou, and Shanghai. But the prosperity that once defined Foshan now seems like a distant memory.